Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Monday Motivation. I'm your host, Daniel Krakowski, joined, as always, by the man in charge.
What's going on? You know what? Every time you say as always, I feel like you're like disappointed that it's always me, and that's why I had to bring a guest.
Yeah.
Ooh, what a segue.
And speaking of a guest, we are joined by MBM Hartley.
Yes. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you.
No problem. Just bring a little bit closer.
Oh,
there we go. There we go.
Right.
I just want to make sure the mic and the acoustics are right.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
So, podcasts. What number of podcasts is this for you?
This is my third.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're right. She's gauging.
But not with us. So this would
No.
this is the
This is the special.
This is the special and the
one.
best one, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Right on. So what we wanted to talk about a little bit is just because, Goran and I tend to associate with a lot of people of our own gender, just naturally, as happens to I think most people to some capacity. Definitely wanted to get a female's perspective on what's going on in the business. Sometimes our motivations can be a little bit different in general between men and women. So wanted to talk to an expert, someone who's got it all figured out, who's got it all going on, and,
Oh, God.
and pick your brain a little bit on what is it. Number one, what do you do? Tell the people a little bit about who you are, and then let's go into what it takes to stay motivated.
Sure. So I am in event marketing. I own a company called Chamberlain Event Marketer, or CEM, and I put together events for businesses. They're geared more towards products and services and brands specifically, and that's pretty much event planning. And
Right, and we met from an event that she put on, a fantastic event.
Oh, thank you.
Right, the best, and whatever other Trump adjectives you want to use.
Huge event.
It was a huge event.
Epic.
You want to tell it a little bit, everybody, just a quick 1 minute overview of what the event was?
Yeah, sure. So that was the Real Estate Social, and we are going to be doing that every year. It's an annual event. It's geared towards real estate professionals, and we started doing that event to kind of promote. I own another company that is a estate management company, and so it's kind of a way to put everybody together and network and kind of promote everybody's businesses.
Right. Awesome. So
if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, the recap in our vlog shot by Intern Isaac, hashtag Intern Isaac.
Hashtag join the movement.
He should be here any minute, coming from school. But it's a really nice video that he put together all by himself. Fantastic job. So you can see. And also he did some social media as the Jew. So it was really nice, and I highly recommend.
Yeah, it was a good video. Yeah.
It was a super and a really great event in general. So what got you into that business? Like, kind of what's the story? Where's your genesis in owning your own business?
Well, I actually have been an entrepreneur pretty much my whole life. I went to business camp when I was 15 years old. I've been obsessed with being an entrepreneur pretty much from being a young kid.
Lemonade stand, the whole deal, yep.
Yes. So basically how event planning came about was when I was in college. I actually went to the Los Angeles Film School. I studied film. And I would go to these other networking events trying to meet other young professionals, and they just weren't, it was just like an excuse to drink and get drunk and party, and I wasn't getting anything out of it. And I was like, I like to host events. I'm going to throw together my own thing. And so I started doing those just on a very small scale, and then it just started growing into what it is now. And I took took some time off. Like I said, I was in film for a while, but that really helped me grow I was a production coordinator, so it helped me grow and learn as being able to manage an entire project.
Right.
Which I correlate my business as an event planner very much similar to the film industry. Like it's one and the same. I think you just
a lot
have
of
different
moving
products.
parts.
Yes, and you're dealing with a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities. There's always, like, every day in film, every day in events, there's always going to be a problem, and you have to solve it. So, which I'm pretty quick on my feet. I'm a problem solver just like naturally, so it's something that I really, really enjoy. I have fun doing it, and there's a creative aspect too, getting to design the events. So that's it's like a storm of like all these things that I enjoy doing. So
yeah, perfect. And the problems, if there's not a problem, people wouldn't pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all we do, really.
That's right. We solve problems for money.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hey, that's a good tagline we should use.
We solve problems for money. It sounds like we're like hitmen or something.
Right.
That's the downside. But okay, so you formed this company, and then do you have an idea of where you want to take it? What's the logical conclusion? Are you trying to own a venue at some point and run things out of that specifically? Are you trying to just grow your clientele base? What's the goal? What's the destination?
With the events, I'm still fairly new in like actually doing it as a business. My company Chamberlain is almost 3 years old, but I started doing the events for money maybe like a year or so ago. So it's still a bit newer, still developing concept is like how far we want to go with it. I have a vision, like I want us to be the number one company that companies and businesses go to when they're trying to do their promotional events, or they want to have a grand opening of their store, their retail line. And yeah, like I love to stick with that commercial, the commercial aspect of it. I don't really do like event planning, like weddings and birthdays and things like that.
Right.
So, just kind of sticking with the business and then becoming the best and the most well-known.
Is that a desire to deal with it on a more academic, logistical side as opposed to a more emotional side, and to remove some of that?
Yes, 100%.
As a real estate investment company, we can relate to
I'm sure.
the difference in a lot of times of a business transaction and a personal one. So,
so you're not throwing a party; you're coordinating an event.
Yes, and I get a little offended when people call it a party. Like, it's not a party; it's an event.
Right, and
there's a bigger picture
when you
it.
throw a party, you're like, hey, time, place, bring whatever. That's a party.
Yeah.
But then when in you doing our event, my main thing was like, hey, don't call me. I just want to come to a finished product.
And you're very adamant about that.
Right, and enjoy it. And that's kind of what you pay for in the service that your company provides for the general public. And that's, to me, is huge because there's so many moving parts, so many different things that you just don't want to deal with, and you just want to come and actually just enjoy the party or the event.
And that's the difference between an event planner and an event manager, because planning an event is one thing, and then managing it is a different thing. There's, like I said, it's a lot of moving parts. There's different pieces that come into play, and then it's also thinking about that bigger picture. What is the product, or what is the service, what is the brand, and what is the reason behind the concept for the event, and then correlating that with everything: the guest list, the catering list, the soundtrack, if there's going to be music playing, you're going to have a live DJ, like all those different things. So there's just a lot going on, and an event planner, it's kind of almost like a demeaning term, like you're not giving it enough credit. So I prefer like event manager.
Yeah, I think we in real estate, we have some of those hurdles where people are like, well, why are you getting paid 3% or 6%? People can't justify that you're just filling out paperwork, but it's so much more than that. When in fact we should be charging double. Maybe one day.
Price is only an issue when it's not exceeded by value. Yeah.
So just to kind of circle back into the whole Monday motivation theme, and the reason why we want to kind of get a different perspective and a female perspective, we did have a few different business owners and entrepreneurs come in, but basically from your perspective, what were some trials and tribulations and some successes, and maybe some things that you've noticed from your perspective? Because obviously we can't we can't assume the female role and say, let's go out in the world and see how people interact with us. And especially being an entrepreneur, what are some of the things that you had overcome or had to overcome in order to kind of, keep fighting and keep moving forward? Because entrepreneurship is still, it is more, more popular now. Before, you just basically assumed that the person was unemployed. Yeah. But now it's a trend and it's a movement. And obviously the other side of that is not just for guys, it's also for gals.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there have been a lot of challenges, but I guess it's less of the fact that I'm a female and more of the fact that I'm young. I'm under 30. I don't really want to say exactly.
I was like, is she gonna say her age on air?
But yeah, I'm
under 30.
I'm under 30.
How close? Are you closer to your 20s or 30?
I plead the fifth. Yeah, and especially in my younger days, people just don't want to give you that chance because they just assume that you are.
I think same obstacles we've had.
Oh,
okay.
All right. Well, maybe we're not that different.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know. I thought there were some hurdles about being a female.
Well,
I guess not.
Okay.
Times have changed.
I don't know if this has ever been an issue for you guys, and I actually am curious about this, but I guess for myself, I think people, to be quite honest, I am what some people would consider an attractive person.
To Daniel.
I don't know. Maybe some people are like, not so much. But
yeah, I wonder how everyone's going to take that comment that they're listening to. They're going to have to.
This is going to be our most commented on Monday Motivation.
Who is this person? And then they're going to have a lot of.
You know what? Hotornot.com. No, I'm kidding.
That's how we know. How old you are.
Yeah, we just
intern Isaac would never no idea.
Oh my god, I just
is.
aged myself.
Yes,
by
you did.
Okay.
He has no idea what Napster is. Okay.
Napster. Well, you know what? I didn't really use Napster. There's some things that.
But you know of it.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a millennial technically, but only by the bare minimum. Yeah, so going back to the whole looks, I think do play a factor, and if you're a woman, some people like to take advantage of that, and they try to I'll offer you
the Bill Cosby method.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh.
What if we get sued by Bill Cosby?
He's in jail. He's
He's
got bigger problems.
Oh man, but
we still like the Cosby Show.
Throwback.
Yeah.
I don't know. And this isn't so much with what I'm doing now. This was more so when I was working in film. But yeah, it's just, I think if you are decently good looking or decent looking and you're young and a female, there's problems that could arise from that. I don't know. I'm sure some people the sobs are
I was a professional ballroom dancer for a long time and taught dance lessons to a lot of people of varying ages.
Don't be modest. Just say what your rank is.
We took second in the world, no big deal. But
let's not make a big deal for modesty. There's no time for modesty.
No, I can relate a little bit to that, where people get very chummy and familiar very quickly.
Well, you guys are good-looking guys. You're young. I'm sure you've had...
She's pointing to Daniel Krakowski. I'm just bundled.
You guys are young, good-looking guys. I'm sure you've had some advances or things in your career that could have been furthered because
That's why Gordon hired me.
Cash advances? Negative.
Is this not?
No,
am I wrong?
Sorry, we should move past. We're belaboring it.
Considering that we have a 70-30 split when it comes to female to male ratio within our office, and we are in the minority. So we just want to put that out there.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that is definitely an obstacle that's more unique to your situation though than ours, and I think it's impossible to say that it's ever going to affect one gender the same as the other, just because there's inherent differences. Yes. So yes, I take your point.
You kind of have the, if you're attractive, the ease to get to something, but then also people's assumptions about that. It's kind of a double-edged sword where, you're just there because of this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that are, famous that had the same type of a stigma and a double standard, but it is what it is. So how have you handled things like that?
I mean, I just like to keep it very professional. And I think if you set the tone right away, there can't be any flirtation on either end. There's a difference between being, nice and respectful and just and a lot of people in general, just if you are nice, some people take that as like, oh, that's my aunt, like she's flirting with me. And that's not the case at all. Like, I'm just trying to, I don't want to be mean to you. Why would I, I'm going to, of course, shake your hand, say hello, whatever.
You want to be friends with me, so I'll be friends with you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's always been my mentality. If you're nice to me, I'm going to be nice to you and, whatever. But I just set the tone right away. Like, this is business. That's why I think I work better in commercial events versus personal, because it's just easier for me to be like, well, this is business, and then there's no excuse like any which way, because that's just how it is.
Gotcha. So I guess, going back to some of the obstacles, that being one of them, what wakes you up in the morning? What is your motivation to keep going after it and not kind of say, oh, well, I'll just go get hired and do this for somebody else. I just want to grind it out on my own.
Yeah. Good question. So I have worked for other people, obviously. Most people have. And it was just getting to a point where I was doing what I'm doing now for another person's company, which I don't mind, and maybe I was young and finding the wrong people to work for, but I was just never getting compensated, the way that I should. I was struggling to pay my bills, and it's like, all right, I'm busting my hump for you all the time, and I can't get my rent paid. Like, there's a problem with that. I don't understand. So I figure, all right, if I'm going to struggle, I'd want to struggle my own way so I can have the benefits myself. So when everything pays off, I'll have all the money and the success on my own, and I don't have to worry about that other person screw me over or whatever.
You have the same kind of downside either way, and without the same upside sometimes when you're working for someone else.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you at least here you take matters kind of into your own hands and say, you know what, if I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail, on my own or because of what I did versus, having somebody else dictate how your life is going to be. So
true. Yeah. And then, there's that element that's kind of just like the survival mode. Like, obviously I have to get my bills paid, but then there's also, I think that there's something bigger than just me individually. And as soon as I'm on that path to success, I can be helpful to other people. And I have always wanted to be, like working with a charity or, being a philanthropist or something, but I just don't have I have the time, but I don't necessarily have the means to be able to do that. So once I'm successful, then I can help other people become successful too.
Purpose over profit.
Yeah.
Hashtag join the movement. No, I think we discussed this over lunch, both Daniel and myself, over delicious My Burger.
Shut up.
Shout out My Burger. What Tony Robbins says, secret of living is giving. And, a lot of times people get into a business or a business venture because it's all about them, and them, or me. But when you really kind of dive deeper into it, especially as an entrepreneur or a sole proprietor, you kind of uncover this, that the more you help others succeed and become successful, it comes back to you. And that's really where you start building on that, where you're like, hey, I'm not going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on others. And then by virtue, you get, the riches that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You focus on that purpose.
Yeah. One thing that I struggle with, and I wanted to ask you for your advice on, is when I do have a long-term goal, and the goal is, I don't know if you ever listened to our podcast, but I had something similar where the ability. Of course she did.
Otherwise,
right?
we're cutting it off.
But the idea of having that long-term goal of helping others and some other intermediate goals as well. But when you're focused on the long-term and the horizon, it's easy to get lost and lose some of your, desire to keep that daily grind and that push going.
Yeah.
What do you do? How do you, reinvigorate yourself and be ready to come in every day to build your business?
It varies day to day, honestly. Like some days I just have that natural, like I just bounce out of bed in the morning and I'm just like, woo, let's do this. And then there's some days where I'm like,
that's the podcast day. VSM podcast day.
Right. And then there's other days where it's a little bit more of a struggle. And I'm a visual person. I'm very inspired by success of other people, and so I watch a lot of like YouTube videos and
VSM
vlog for sure, 100%, yes, absolutely.
I'm plugging myself. I don't care.
No shame. So yeah, like I'll watch like some YouTube. I'm supposed to read some books, but I haven't.
Hey, you know what? The trifecta of success: the Tony Robbins, the Grant Cardone, and the Gary Vee.
Education.
That's right.
Gary Vee. Yeah, but and then the.
Is it hard? So, from my perspective, I have a partner, and then we have a bunch of people here, and we feed off each other's energy. Especially kind of Daniel and myself. It would be, I think, be much harder to do this podcast alone.
Oh, yeah.
When we do it together, it's much easier. And do you feel like it's more of a hurdle when you are kind of on your own versus when you
solopreneur?
Yeah.
I was gonna say too. Working with other people, actually Carissa and I right now, we're working on doing a lot of cross promotions with other businesses, and that's really huge. Like just even going into a meeting with someone, like just having a coffee meeting, well, the energy from the coffee usually gets me pretty amped up, but like the energy of other people is really, it inspires me.
Fuels you?
Yes, it fuels me.
Is it happening now?
Yes.
Okay, because that's how we know Monday motivation works.
It's working. It's
yes.
Good. Yeah.
Beautiful. So I think we'll wrap it up there. We got into a lot, a little bit of motivation, a little bit more about what you do. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Where can they find you? We're going to have it all in the notes, but what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Pitch it.
Yeah, so you can I'm on Instagram, Twitter, MBM Hartley, at MBM Hartley, and then also my website is chamberlainsocial.com.
Awesome. If you didn't catch that, don't worry, because we're going to have that in the notes, and also the distribution that we have on YouTube and SoundCloud. All that stuff will be on there.
Thanks so much again. Goran, thanks for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
Have a good week, everyone.